Good morning, everybody. So for this meditation, you could be sitting on the floor, or if you know that, or you can choose, because in the gentle yoga class for the first section of it, we're going to be actually using a chair anyway. So if you know that you find it much more comfortable to sit up in a chair, then please do. Just making sure that you're not slumping back into the chair, but kind of sitting on the edge of it with your feet firmly planted on the ground. But like I say, you could move between sitting on the floor and a chair anyway, so whatever feels right for you. And welcome to this morning's meditation. I hope you've had a good night. Lovely to see you all. If you'd like to come to a comfy seat and closing your eyes, maybe bringing the tips of your thumbs and forefingers together. Taking a few moments to drop your attention into your body. And by dropping our attention into the body and feeling into all sensation, it's one way of removing some attention from the mind. So our thoughts can continue, but we're much more interested in what it feels like to be in connection with the floor or the chair beneath us, for example. So really tuning into that sense of rootedness, that weight of the lower body, the base of the body. Possibly being aware of the surface beneath you, raising up to meet you, to hold you this morning, to provide you with stability. You can notice sensations further up the body, maybe a lightness as you follow the spine up from the base all the way to the top of your head. Or maybe a slight brightening in the chest this morning, as you release your shoulders away from your ears. And inviting as much softness into your face as possible. Noticing where your lips meet. And your eyelids meet. And as you notice where your eyelids meet, becoming soft in the tissues around and behind your eyes. Resting your eyes this morning. They've got nothing to do right now. And softening the tongue and the insides of your cheeks and the roof of your mouth. so that you feel alive to sensation through the whole body, but with softness. And gentleness. Bringing your attention now to the sensation of air in your nostrils. Tuning into the stream of the breath and following it to the back of your nose and out again into the space around you. And then following it back to your sinus cavities and back into the space around you. And then following it all the way to the back of your throat and out into the space around you. Really sensitive to the stream of your breath. And following it all the way down into your chest and then out into the space around you. Next time you breathe in, following the stream of the breath all the way through the nostrils to the back of the nose, the sinus cavity, the back of your throat, your chest, and down into your stomach. And back out again. So for a few rounds of breath, simply observing and sinking into this stream of the breath. Maybe noticing that your stomach softens a little. And the outer edges of your diaphragm maybe soften a little. As you breathe with the morning. Staying very, very close, very, very intimate with this sensation, with this stream of the breath. And we're going to observe the breath today in more detail, adding a count to the breath. So next time you breathe out, just pausing at the bottom of the exhalation and counting to 1. And then next time you breathe out, pausing at the bottom of the exhalation and counting to 2. And I'm going to leave you with that practice in silence for a minute or two until you count up to 10 and then you start again. So it's always the number comes at the end of the exhalation. And if you lose count, that's absolutely fine. You just start over again. And then after your next count, just coming back to noticing the stream of the breath again. I'm going to add a very subtle change in count. Just before you take a breath in, count for 1. Very subtle difference. And then just before you take another breath in, count to 2, and so on until you come to 10, and then you start again. Simply noticing that moment before you breathe in. You're not straining the breath or trying to breathe deep, but staying with that natural stream, that natural flow, that softness as your body breathes. And if you get lost with the count, just come back to 1 again. And then allowing the counting to fade away. As you come to the simple sense of your body breathing. Feeling the whole body breathing, no count. Just a sense of aliveness and softness as you breathe with the morning. Softening your skin, your jaws and your eyes, the back of your head. And as you continue to breathe and sit just for a moment longer, I'm going to read a poem I often read. It's called The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. And so coming now to take a few slightly deeper breaths, maybe feeling your abdomen rise and fall with the breath. And coming to a sense of the weight of your body, sensations in your body. As you gradually bring yourself out of this meditation and back into the day, you might like to move your body a little bit, have a little stretch. Open and close your eyes a few times, maybe yawn. And I thank you very much for joining me for that. In a few moments, we'll come to the gentle yoga practice. And like I say, you need a chair for that if you haven't got one already. Thank you. So, hi again. For those of you who didn't hear me say before or who didn't see the screen, if you'd like to get hold of a chair, please. We're going to use it not just to sit on, but also for another part of the practice. And just make sure as you come onto your chair that your feet are firmly on the ground. So you might want to have them on something. Make sure you're warm enough. So for this week, it's very much actually like the first classes I started lockdown with, and I seem to have moved away a bit from that. It's coming back to a breathing practice, coming back to pranayama, which in Sanskrit actually means breath control. And I think I'm partly doing this because somebody asked me to, but partly because it is such a profound part of the practice and can have an even more calming, stilling mental and physical effect than the more physical style of yoga. So it's not that in this class we won't move our bodies at all, we will. But if you're wanting a slightly more kind of opening physical practice today, the Hatha flow class won't be super strenuous. We'll be doing some sun salutations. So you might like to stay with me for now and do a breathing practice predominantly, and then come to the flow afterwards if you feel like more of a physical practice. But like I say, for those of you who are thinking, oh, I wanted to move my body and I'm not so interested in breathing, breathing is an incredibly physical practice anyway. So lovely. If you'd like to come to making sure you can see I'm not sitting slumping back in the chair, making sure your spine's back's nice and straight and your feet are firmly planted. And then coming to close your eyes, possibly. And those of you who are in the meditation, we've already had a breathing meditation, so it'd be quite easy maybe to come back to the stream of your breath. And for those of you who've just joined me, hello. Coming to a sense of the stream of the breath through your nose and down into your body, just noticing where you feel it. And we're going to come straight into some sectional breathing this morning. So we're coming straight into an awareness of the sections of our lungs. So next time well actually before I say that, just becoming aware of this area of the torso from your navel to your solar plexus. It's the area of the floating ribs, the bottom of your ribs, which coincides with the bottom lobules of the lungs. You don't need to take your hands there. Just being aware of this area, the front and the sides and the back. So that when you next breathe in, you breathe in down to this area. Just become aware of this area. From the navel to the solar plexus, front, sides and back. And when you breathe out, just feel that section of your torso come back into the body again. A little bit of a release. So there's no need to strain. It's not like you're trying to burst the bottom of your lungs. But you're aware of this gentle inflation in a very particular part of the body, in a very particular part of the lungs. Really noticing the floating ribs, the back of the ribs, but also the sides. And all the while being very soft in the rest of your body. So when we're anxious and we're nervous, we tend not to breathe right into the bottom of the lung cavity. Tend to breathe much more shallowly. So this coming all the way down to the bottom lobules is just a lovely way. Sometimes we're quite quickly finding a little bit more of a sense of calm. We're going to move up the torso to a band from the solar plexus to the center of the chest. So that now when you breathe in, you really focus on this area, from the solar plexus to the center of your chest, to the front, but also out to the back and out to the sides. So you feel centers, the central lobules of your lungs, gently expanding as you breathe in, no strain. And then that gentle release as you breathe out. Really tuning into the sensations. So sectional breathing like this is one of the first types of pranayama I was taught. And you know, I come back to it over and over again, as you probably noticed in the teaching. I think it's a profound practice. We're going to lift our attention up now to the very top lobules of the lungs, which is the area to focus on, is from the center of the chest up to your collarbones and out to the tips of your shoulders. It's almost like a little triangle. And it's a very shallow part, the most shallow part of the lungs. And again, as you focus on breathing in and out in this section of the lungs, remembering the different dimensions, remembering the front, sides and the back. And you might feel as if you're breathing right into your armpits now. Really soft in the throat, the roof of your mouth. It's almost a sensation of sipping in the breath. And then letting that go and taking a couple of natural breaths before we connect those three sections together. So one of the best ways of visualizing this is to imagine the whole of your chest cavity or your lungs as a balloon that you're going to fill with water in one wave from the bottom to the top. And then on the exhalation, you empty all the water out. But remember that we're moving to the front, the sides and the back. So next time you breathe in, come all the way down to those floating ribs and begin to fill your balloon front, sides and back, but draw the same inhalation up to the center of the chest. And then all the way up to the top as you just top your balloon up. And maybe pause for a moment before you then pour out the breath from the top down. You pour the water out of your balloon. So it's difficult to do this without strain. So take a few breaths to feel into the pacing that you need to take, to feel like this wave, a ripple of the breath all the way in and then all the way out. Keeping very, very soft in the face. Maybe you really notice that full ripple, that full wave of release as you let go with the exhalation. And then a sense of bringing in fresh life, bringing in the day as you inhale and fill your lungs section by section. And taking two more of these full breaths, Maha Pranayama, full yogic breaths. And then at the end of your final exhalation of this full breath, returning to natural breath and simply noticing how you feel. Simply noticing now the sensations of a natural breath. And then if you'd like to open your eyes if they're closed, and come off your chair, placing your chair just to one side because we will use it again. Coming to standing with your feet about hip distance apart, parallel. Arms down by your sides. And we're going to practice the ujjayi breath, but first of all with an open mouth. So we've been doing this for weeks now, so I think most of you are familiar with it. So as you breathe in, just lifting your arms up over your head really slowly, really aware now of the full breath in. Pause, and as you breathe out, ha breath, really feeling the stream of the breath over the back of your throat. Let's take a few more. Breathe in. Maybe breathing in, feeling the stream over the back of your throat too. And out. Take a few more. And at some point you'll notice what it feels like to close your mouth and continue. That ocean breath at the back of the throat. So I really like to start with an open mouth and then close. Until eventually you're breathing in and out, moving your arms with the breath, with your mouth closed, but with this stream, this ocean breath rasping, resonating the back of your throat and throughout the rest of your skull. Let's take 3 more. Synchronizing the arm movements with the breath. Really firm through the feet. And then coming to your arms by your sides. Noticing how you feel. You can let go of the ujjayi for a moment. And we're going to come to some half sun salutations. So very simple movement, but staying with this ujjayi breath. So the focus is the breath to really come into the fullness, the focus of your practice. So on a breath in, with this ujjayi, breathing in and lifting your arms up. Maybe feel your palms meet your feet on the floor as you pause, and then bending at the knees slightly, breathe out and hinge down, leading with the chest. Fingers to the floor or your shins, chin to your chest. And then breathing in, straighten your legs and lift your chest. Slide your shoulders down the spine. And breathe out, fold right in on yourself. Absolutely fine to bend your knees. And then breathing in, come all the way up, arms over your head. Palms meet. And breathe out, hands down to your chest. We're going to just continue like this with the ujjayi if you like it. If ujjayi doesn't work for you, just breathe naturally. Arms coming up. And then swan dive down, lead with the chest. Breathing out. Breathing into a flat back, open chest, straight legs. And then breathe out, folding in on yourself. And pressing through your feet, breathing in, coming all the way up. And breathing out, hands to your chest. And we'll take a few more. I'm going to leave you in silence just to practice this full focus of the breath with the movement. Remember the ujjayi, that ocean breath, if it works for you. almost getting lost in these half sun salutations as if they were like a moving meditation, which they are. Lovely to do in the morning. Also lovely to do to music. I don't know if you're using your playlists. I'm definitely going to refresh those this week. I'm taking two more. Really feeling every millimetre of movement, every part of the breath. So you're completely absorbed. So I'm on my last one now. When you're up to standing from your last half sun salutation, taking a moment to come back to natural breath with your left hand right over the centre of your chest and your right hand over your belly. Maybe close your eyes. And now feel the breath, now feel the body. Feel the space around you. Beautiful sun outside. Don't know if it is where you are. And we come back to our breathing practice with the chair, but we're going to lie down with our forelegs on the chair. So I've got a blanket. It'll depend on what kind of chair you've got. But you sort of want a right angle in the knees. So you don't want to be right back. You don't want to be too far forwards. You want just the right height for your legs so that your knees are at a right angle. And you're able to settle back. Cover yourself with a blanket if you need to. And take a moment to get really comfortable. Maybe enjoying a sense of the back of your body on the floor. So we're going to, in this lovely version of Viparita Karani, this restorative pose, which is wonderful for resting the legs and the feet. We're going to come back to the sectional breathing that we did right at the beginning when we were sitting. But we're going to combine the ujjayi breath that we've just been practicing with the sections, if that is available to you. So bringing your attention back to that band from your navel up to your solar plexus, the floating ribs, and remembering the front, the back, and the sides. And as you breathe into this area of the lungs, doing so with an ujjayi breath, that ocean breath, that rasping at the back of your throat. And breathing out. So you can really feel the back of your ribs in contact with the floor here. Your hands can be wherever you like. Taking a few rounds like this down into the bottom section of the lungs, front, back and sides, ujjayi breath. Soften the face, soften the shoulders. And you can gradually move your attention up to the central section, the midsection, from the solar plexus to the heart center, front, sides and backs, still breathing ujjayi. Feeling the back of the ribs pressing against the mat. And then releasing. If your mind wanders, just gently, lovingly bring it back to the experience of the breath, the sensation of breathing. We're going to move now up to the top section. So from the center of your heart space all the way up to the top of your shoulders, your collarbones. Still with the ujjayi, still front, back and sides. Really releasing, almost unhinging in the jaws. And then whenever you're ready, you might want to take just a simple breath in and out in between. Whenever you're ready, using your ujjayi breath now to connect the three sections of the lungs. Starting at the bottom, remember your balloon of water. And take a few of these full yogic breaths, Maha Pranayama with ujjayi. Remembering not to strain, not to burst. And taking two more full breaths yourselves. And when you come to the end of the second breath, releasing all of that attention. Releasing ujjayi, releasing the sections. And noticing how you feel with a natural breath. And then gently in your own time, bringing your knees in towards you, maybe rolling over a little bit on your back. And coming over, how are we doing for time? Yeah. Coming over to and up to standing. So we're going to sit in our chair in a moment, but we'll just have a little bit of movement to limber up the shoulders and the spine again before we come to sitting. So if you'd like to interlace your hands behind your back, and you can bring them up the spine a little bit so to release the shoulders, and then roll your shoulders up to the ears, inhaling, and then back again, and slide your hands past your tailbone. So you have a nice open chest here, and you can be soft in the knees. And then on a breath in, so you've got all this lovely breath now, really feel the expansion of your chest as you draw your arms out behind you. Take a breath out here, and then take another breath in. And on the breath out, very gently hinging from the hips, bringing your arms with you. Take a breath in and out when you're down here.
And then pressing into your feet, inhaling and coming all the way up. So we'll just do this a few times. Exhaling, hinge. Taking a breath in and out when you're down here, just to feel into the shoulders. When you're ready again to breathe in, coming up. Breathing out last time, come down. And when you're ready to breathe in, coming all the way up. And then releasing your hands down by your sides. Bringing your fingertips to your shoulders. And taking a breath in. And then on the breath out, simply twisting around to the right. You can lift the left heel if you want. Use your eyes to come to the right. And then breathing into the center. And breathing out to the left. So a very subtle, very gentle twist. Continuing in your own time. You breathe into the center. You breathe out to the left. And as I said, if you're wanting a more physical practice, do stay for the hatha flow. We'll go through pretty much what I do often in the mornings, a variation on sun salutation practice. As you twist, rather than flinging yourself around, really notice gentle movement of the spine and how the rest of your body responds. Use your breath. And taking one more to each side. Until you're ready to release your arms down by your sides and simply feel the body. And now we are going to sit back on our chairs. I don't know why I'm a bit chilly this morning. Okay. So if you would like to just make yourselves really comfortable again with your feet firmly planted, lovely straight back. And bring the tips of your thumbs and forefingers together for chin mudra. And then plant your hands back down again. So we're going to do three things. Shouldn't be too complicated. We're going to focus on the section of the lungs. We're going to breathe ujjayi. But the third thing we're going to do, which is new, is interrupt the inhalation. So we've done this in different classes. You're going to imagine you're breathing up a staircase. It's wonderful for really expanding the breath, the lung capacity. So you're going to breathe in a little bit and pause. You're going to breathe in a little bit more and pause. But this is all in the lower section of the lungs. And you come to the top of your inhalation, and then the breath out is a sliding down the banister. And that's what we're going to do for the three sections. Thumbs and forefingers together. So taking a normal breath in and out. And then when you're ready, with your attention in this lower band, beginning to breathe up your staircase with an ujjayi breath if you're able to. So it's like you sip the breath in and then you wait on the stair, and then you sip the breath in until you come to the top. Then it's a lovely flowing release as you breathe out. I'll let you do a few of those.
Remember the front, the sides and the back. And then with the same system of the steps, coming up to the central section, just moving your attention up to the center, front, sides and back. Never straining, remember never to strain. It can be counterproductive and increase anxiety if you strain the breath. And really enjoy that sliding down the banister on the exhalation. So we're really doing, this is also very muscular for all the little muscles in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, but also the diaphragm. And then when you're ready, coming up to the top section of your lungs, so just sliding your attention up to this area from the center of your chest to the tips of your shoulders. Front, sides and back. And then letting that go. Letting that go. Opening your palms out and coming to a simple, natural breath before we come to the next stage in this practice. The next stage is the same sections of the lungs, the same ujjayi, but this time we breathe in smooth and we interrupt the exhalation. So on the exhalation, we come down the stairs and we stop, we pause, we exhale a bit more, we pause. Great for breath control. And we'll use a variation of these hand gestures. So we'll start with the bottom section of the lungs with the thumbs and forefingers touching again. Take a normal breath in and out. And then come to your ujjayi, lower section of the lungs, and breathe in smooth. And as you breathe out, come down the stairs. Pausing on the step before your lungs are empty. And then breathe in all the way up. Finding your own pace. And then dropping that and take a natural breath in and out as you curl the rest of your fingers in towards your palms. The thumbs and forefingers are still touching. And when you're ready, taking exactly that same swoop up on the inhalation, stairs down on the exhalation, coming to the central band of your lungs, the central band of your chest, front, sides and back. Remembering never to strain.
And when you come to the bottom of your steps, taking a natural breath in and out, and taking your thumb across your palms and curling the rest of your fingers round the thumbs. And then when you're ready, we come to the top section of the lungs again, from the center of the chest to the tips of the shoulders. Ujjayi breath maybe, sliding up the banister first on the inhalation, and down the stairs, pausing during the exhalation. Front, sides and back of this very slim top of your lungs. Just taking a couple of rounds. Then eventually letting all of that go, and opening your palms out so the backs of your hands are on your legs. Now letting go of everything, letting go of the ujjayi, letting go of the interrupted breathing, letting go of the sections of your lungs, and simply noticing how you feel with a natural breath. And you might like to stay in a seated meditation like this, or you might like to come back to lying on the floor with your legs up on the chair. That's what I would recommend. And if you're not coming with me to the Hatha Flow class, I just thank you very much for joining me for a very strong breathing practice with a little bit of physical work as well. It'd be good to know from some of you how you got on with that. I hope you have a lovely morning, a lovely day. And thanks ever so much for joining me.